Well, the Nintendo Switch 2. The Switch 1 was a hell of an innovation and something that, well, I was among the few that was very excited upon seeing that first Nintendo Switch trailer, and now we know everything about its follow-up. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Ranks, the 10 biggest announcements for the Nintendo Switch 2. So starting off with number 10, let's look at general features, all right? So it's not going to shock you with what it is. It's a handheld, it's a tabletop, it's got a dock. It's not revolutionary, it's the Switch, but it's also the Switch. The Switch did it right the first time. Why mess with the formula when you can supercharge it, give us some more pixels, and add magnets, right? First off, the screen is much bigger, 7.9 inches, and it's got a higher resolution. It's a 1080p screen. While that doesn't sound incredible, it's also a handheld. I've been playing PC games on a regular Steam Deck for years now. It's fine. 1080p is quite good. The Joy-Con 2s, oh my god, they're so much better. They now connect magnetically, which, yes, very much. Thank you. That's a great idea. They have bigger SLSR buttons. I like that. And they work as mice. They have mouse controls. Bold move, Cotton. I'm interested to see if anybody uses them for a game. Potentially, FPS games on the Switch are now the best console FPS experience, which I love that. That's pretty awesome. It's potentially that. We don't know it's that, but we'll see. There is a built-in microphone with noise canceling and upgraded speakers for the unit. They're using the words 3D audio, so, I mean, it better be pretty good. Long story short, it's got the same 3 play modes, but it injects everything with some long overdue horsepower. I know some people are going to say, but it's not as powerful as it is console. It doesn't need to be. It's a Switch. You think a Steam Deck is as powerful as a top-of-the-line gaming PC? No, it's not. It doesn't need to be either. At number 9, a Switch is finally invited to the party. By that, I mean multi-platform games are not going to be neglected here. Third-party devs aren't just porting games 6 years late. We're actually getting on-time, big-budget support with real multi-platform games that are not just another version of Skyrim. Like, we're talking Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. Yes, that Elden Ring on this Nintendo console. Apparently, Switch 2 can handle very large open worlds that aren't made of pop-in and regrets, i.e. Pokemon. But also we're going to see Hades 2, in case you're aching to die over and over. I mean, we're talking a big multi-platform catalog, though. There's Street Fighter 6, Hogwarts Legacy, hopefully without 12-minute loading times. Yakuza 0, Director's Cut. Hell, we're even getting Madden and EA FC, which means Nintendo fans can enjoy the latest versions of those games. I don't think they ever did that. I don't know. The Switch wasn't the console I was doing that crap on. Daemon X Machina, Titanic Scion is coming. Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition, Project 007. Let's be serious. The correct studio to make a 007 game. It's the Hitman studio. Why on earth would that not be who to go to for that? We'll also be getting Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 because we should. Like, everyone deserves that. We'll also be getting an HD remaster of Bravely Default Flying Fairy. Like, we're going back to a time when Nintendo machines weren't just Nintendo machines. Like, we're talking way back in the SNES years when multi-platform was Sega versus Nintendo, and you often had games, maybe not exactly the same game, but you'd have a game come out on multiple consoles pretty much all the time, unless it was first party. We got some other stuff first. Moving on to number 8, Nintendo's finally doing GameChat, and honestly, it's kind of good. If you remember having to download the Nintendo Switch Online app to say hello, man, have they gone the other direction. They actually have built-in voice and video chat in the Switch too. No phone apps, no weird third-party duct tape, no Discord workarounds. Native voice chat is here. So GameChat, obviously, lets you chat with your friends while playing using a built-in microphone that has what looks like, and keep in mind what we know is from an announcement and promo, but what looks like possibly good noise canceling tech. Works in handheld mode, works when you're holding a controller. You can, if you want, use a USB-C camera attachment and throw video chat in the mix, which I think would be a bit weird, honestly. It's not something I intend to do, but you can share your game screen, resize it, see what's going on mid-call. It kind of makes co-op look a bit like Twitch streaming without a chat yelling whatever obscenities at you. There's a new C button that basically it brings you to the chat menu, and more or less that's where you do everything. Now, I would say a lot of this sounds like bare minimum online social features, but it's also Nintendo, and they haven't had them. So that's great, in my opinion. At number 7, this one will delight parents everywhere. Nintendo Switch 2 is introducing something called Game Share. So, let's say you got members in your family group that want to play a game, you can actually lend it to them. This is different because right now, it's set up very stupid, where any subordinate accounts don't necessarily have access to everything. I'm not going to get into how it works now because it's dumb, but you won't need to purchase additional copies of a game for people in your family group, people in your house to play the damn games. Now, Game Share definitely has to remain within your trusted, family group. You can't just give it to anybody, but that's fine. That's part of the problem I'm talking about here. It's good that they're modernizing the digital ecosystem here. Game Share, it's practical. I'm sure they just didn't think of it last time around, but I'm happy they're taking a step in the right direction this time around. Moving at number 6, Nintendo officially announced they're adding GameCube classics via the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack service. Now, I think this is really, really cool because there's a lot of GameCube games that, I would really like to go back and play, particularly stuff like F-Zero GX. I don't want to hook up a GameCube just to play that. For anybody who doesn't like the remaster of Wind Waker that's going to be here, I'll probably be playing the remaster personally. It just looks beautiful and it's fun. I know that there are people who like the nostalgia, but I do love that remaster. There are promises of future updates for stuff like Super Mario Sunshine or Pokemon Coliseum, and they're even making wireless GameCube controllers, so some of the weirdness of these games can be dealt with because it's got that weird C-stick. I'm not exactly sure how that would be accommodated on a modern controller and have it actually feel right. Although, maybe just a second joystick is fine. I don't know. You're obviously going to play it one way or the other. I am anyway. A number of people my age will be very attracted to this feature. You will need to have, like I said, the expansion pack tier on Nintendo Switch Online, but I already have that, so all right. Honestly, it's about time that we got the GameCube classics on a modern console. It is about time. At number 5, we're talking about a few more multi-platform titles. Gonna start with a shocker. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition is coming to Switch 2. Not a cloud version. You're not streaming it from your PC or something. You're playing full-blown Night City on a handheld. I mean, a lot of us have done that with Steam Deck, but I would guess that having a version specifically built for this is going to yield probably a better experience. We're also going to be getting Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which is great. We're also going to be getting, when it comes out, Borderlands 4. There's going to be a Sid Meier's Civilization 7 Switch 2 edition, WWE 2K, NBA 2K, and then also we're getting some great indies. Deltarune's going to be continuing its episodic weirdness on the Switch 2. Enter the Gungeon 2 is a big hell yes for me. Survival Kids is coming back. If you remember the original game on the Game Boy Color. And then there's Starseeker Astroneer Expeditions. Looks like they're trying to scratch the cozy sci-fi exploration itch. I'm not 100% on exactly what that's going to turn out being. It looks all right. Honestly, the thing that matters here is this is no longer a console you're kind of like, man, I hope they're able to fit something onto it. It seems like they're going to be part of the main launch conversation. You got Square Enix, CD Projekt Red, Gearbox, 2K. It finally seems like Nintendo is shaking off the it's just a Nintendo thing stigma, or hopefully it is anyway. At number 4, Kirby Air Riders is going to be a hell of a fun game. I don't know if you remember Kirby Air Ride back on the GameCube. Yes, we're talking about a sequel to a GameCube game that was kind of not received well critically, but fans loved it. It was a really good selling game. A lot of people enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I remember having a hell of a lot of fun with people. It had a battle royale mode and multiplayer. It was just fun as hell. I will say, I don't know if a game that simple can justify itself, so they're probably going to have to up the complexity a little bit. Like, you can't do like a crappy kart racer now and people be like, yeah, man. However, the reason why it was good was not its controls. It was more, it had some creative modes that were a lot of fun. If they can beef up the controls a little bit, make slightly better courses, and retain all of the good things that people liked from the original, I think Kirby Air Riders could be a real fun game. I'm pretty psyched about it personally. I remember the original very fondly, and I'm super stoked they're making a sequel. At number 3 is Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'm just going to be completely clear. I did not see this coming. I do not know how, but they came up with something that sounds like a much better Donkey Kong 3D platformer than they possibly could have. And you know how we're always talking about how there's not enough games with destructible environments? Well, they're making a game with destructible, like it seems like a large element of the game is its destructible environments. Oh my God, does Donkey Kong Bonanza look freaking sweet. I am so psyched for this one. What's fun is there's some clear nods to various eras of Donkey Kong. The more recent Donkey Kong design, which is actually kind of more of a nod to the classic Donkey Kong design, if you ask me. But there's stuff that makes me think of Donkey Kong Country, and then there's apparently going to be side-scrolling segments that feel a lot more like Donkey Kong Country. Like, this game looks a lot like if I ever expected them to do something innovative with the Donkey Kong IP. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love getting a new Donkey Kong Country whenever they decide to remember that Donkey Kong exists. Tropical Freeze and all that. They're good games. But it's not a franchise I expected innovation in, and this looks very fresh. I am super excited about Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's probably, honestly, out of the crop of games, the ones that I'm, like the top tier ones, it's among my most anticipated. I'm really excited about this. It's landing in July. Moving on to number 2, it's the Duskbloods. So while From Software has been giving us very visually interesting titles for a long time, they've been visually interesting in a way that it tends to be architecture oriented. Here we have that, but in this, what I have to assume is a Soulsborne type game, really looks a lot like Bloodborne, but there's a lot more color in this. And no, that doesn't mean it looks happy or anything. It certainly doesn't. But I am impressed at the various looks that were achieved here. There's some stuff that I haven't really seen in a From Software game, and yet it looks very From Software. I don't know. I'm just psyched about this. This looks cool as hell. They are hyping it as a multiplayer game, so I am assuming it may be kind of like if Bloodborne was Night Rain. I don't know. We'll see. It looks cool as hell. Like, that's all that really matters. I'm going to be playing it. You're going to be playing it. Duh. And finally, at number 1, this is really what I think everybody cares about. This is what they knew the bread and butter was going to be when they teased the Switch 2. It's Mario Kart World, the probably biggest launch title, launching on June 5th along with the Nintendo Switch 2. And it's the very first open world Mario Kart game. There's a vast, interconnected world with what they're calling diverse regions. City streets, jungles, mountains, deserts. They're also apparently introducing dynamic weather and a time of day system, which to me is going to introduce a very large amount of variety into Mario Kart racing. Probably the bigger, more crazy thing here is just how much you're going to see in terms of players in a race. This is a 24-player game, which is, I mean, there are games with more players in them, but in terms of Mario Kart, that's crazy. It used to be 12. That was the largest amount they put into a Mario Kart game, was 12, and now it's 24. I don't even know if I have 24 friends. I certainly don't have 24 friends that I can definitely get into a Mario Kart match, but but they're also tossing in a free roam mode, so you're going to be able to just like do whatever. So I don't know exactly if the 24 players applies only to races or if you can free roam with a pack of lunatics that you call your friends. Honestly, it looks like Nintendo has gone, you know what? Let's innovate kart racing. Let's make kart racing, give it more possibilities, you know? I'm pretty excited about this. We all kind of had guesses the next Mario Kart might be open world. I kind of didn't care a whole lot whether it was or wasn't, but after seeing what we're getting. I'm really happy it's open world. I'm really happy about it in general. Switch 2, everything about it. I'm psyched. And let me tell you, everybody, this is going to be a fun console. I love the first Switch. Looks like they're addressing the main problem with the first one, which is that it was not a beefy boy. In terms of how beefy it is, you can make arguments about it versus the PS5, for instance. But from everything we've seen, it doesn't look like it's going to be a serious problem in terms of horsepower. It looks like it's going to be quite a console. I'm excited. I want to know what you think, though. Leave us a comment. Let us know. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications. And as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter and book me on Cameo at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks.